thought I'd give you a little heating update. Been working on this for a little while. It's been paused because of weather, parts that I've needed to get, because it wasn't really easy to figure this out. So warning for any of you buying a kit from Heatso, you know, there's things you know about, you need to learn about. I'm going to try to tell you that in this segment right here. First thing that's important to understand is that you have two different sizes going on, and they're metric. So when you got to make the switch in the US, it's just kind of fun. There's some pros to this though that worked out pretty good. And I only know this because I ended up with a radiant floor system. So let me run you through that real quick. Now, I think if I got done this video correctly, you've already seen the heater mounted underneath the truck. It's bolted to the backside of my electrical box where my battery's going to go. Immediately coming out of that straight up is a 1-inch line. So I come 1 inch and turn 90 degrees and start my plumbing system. And that's what I'm going to show you right now. Let me run you through that. Here it is coming up. Here's my electrical box right there. That's the hatch. That's the end of it. Heater's mounted right there. That's the line coming up 1 inch. Let me see if I can get it in the camera. 1 inch coming up right there. So immediately, let me get these out of the way. Immediately, this switches over and goes to 3/4 inch. So there's a reducer right here. Go to a T because I need to come off 1/2 inch off of that. So I stuck 3/4 inch by 3/4 inch by 1/2 inch T. And then I wanted a valve in here, so 3/4 inch valve all the way through. So I can control that. Going over here under my fridge to my heater. And here's that line. That'll go into this. This is where things get fun. See, this is the reason you switch to 3/4. These are really 3/4, or maybe it's a metric version of that, very close to 3/4 inch. So it goes, feeds in, comes back out, doesn't matter which way it goes. I don't think there's no in or out on that one. It just will loop through that heater. Comes back in, I pick it up here. I have a T coming off because this is a return line. This return line feeds into a reservoir tank that I'm going to show you in a minute. The purpose of that is to eliminate air bubbles as well. I think it's one of the benefits of it. So I need to feed this return line because here's what's happening, right? You can see I got my feed here with a valve going into my radiant floor system, and that's going to go out, loop, come back, and go into this. So all of this is feeding in and going down underneath. Now I stuck with 3/4 inch all the way through here. So I bought 3/4 inch line, and I ran that under my truck, under the van, and here it is. That's it. It's coming up right here. This is my 3/4 inch line. Now I got some extra length on this because where it's feeding to is going to be what's mounted right here inside my kitchen cabinet, right below my sink. Well, to the left of my sink. My sink sits a little to the right, which is perfect. And it's going to feed into here. Well, guess what that is? 1 inch. Making it all made more fun. So now I need to come up. I have to get, I don't have it, 3/4 to 1 inch elbow, and then a little 1 inch stub piece of hose onto that, which I have extra of, I can do. Then we come back out of this hose 1 inch. That's this line right here in the front. This is the return line, 1 inch. So actually this is 20 mil. This is pretty close. It's a snug fit. And this runs all the way back across and goes into the little pump that I will show you in a minute. And so that, and then that pumps out and then feeds right back into the heater. There's the closed loop. This line right here is picked up off of the heater, off of the T. I put a T right on top of the heater, so with a valve, so I can shut this off if I want. And this feeds all my hot water on this side. This will feed my sink, and then another water heat exchanger I'll have in here, which will be tied into my recirculating shower. So this one line comes over. If this isn't pulling, this one is, and the water, the heat's just going to go through there and to my other element and heat my hot water. And if somebody wants to, they can turn on the sink and get hot water while you're taking a shower, because that'll be heated at the same time. It really won't matter. So that's pretty cool. Now this sits up a lot higher. The kitchen cabinet's on here. It's going to sit up about 6 inches. So this is the inlet line, and it's 1 inch. From here, everything goes back to 3/4. Don't know why, but it does. So I happen to have more of this, and I can come out of this 3/4, go 3/4 into my other heat exchanger, and that heat exchanger needs to feed into this line as well, as that comes out 3/4 into this. So actually I think I need a T into this as well. It's crazy stuff going on to make that. No, I'm sorry, it goes into this one. This is the feeding into the tube. Let me get this right. This is the return. So yeah, that's going to come out 3/4. It's going to have to go into here, into a T, and feed into this water bottle. So lots of fun with that. Still got a little bit more plumbing to do, but I really can't do it until I have my kitchen cabinet in here and mount everything and finish that off. So pretty easy part of that. Let me take you underneath and show you how I've mounted this and what I'm doing next. Hold on. Right here, my heater. Notice I have the burn end of it away from my fiberglass wall siding. Didn't want any heat over in that area. So this is mounted in, it's off of this. I had to block it all out, get past a strut, a joist here or whatever, big metal channel. And I had to get everything low enough so I could fit all this valve work and plumbing up here. Now I'll tell you what's going on real quick. Let's see if you can follow me. So coming out of the furnace, straight up, outlet line comes up and it tees off right away. And then immediately I hit a valve. This feeds the water exchangers, heat exchangers on the other side that you just saw. And so, and everything's nice and on rubber hoses, so it's all going to take the vibration very well, I think. And just clamps for now. Probably going to wish I'd done stainless steel clamps, but we'll see how they hold up. I am going to cover and protect this anyways and keep all the junk out of here. They're going to be able to build a box around this and protect it. So that goes up. You saw all that. Valve tees off, feeds my radiant heat, goes off, feeds my air exchanger. Air exchanger comes back down right here. Whoop, I'm hitting the wrong button there for you guys. That's what you call a mouse snip if you're on a computer. But anyways. All right, so here I am. I come back out of the air exchanger, 3/4 inch, and I run that all the way across. While I'm here, here's the pump. And here's my 1 inch line coming back from the expansion bottle, the white bottle that you saw, comes down, feeds back into my pump on the inlet side, and I used the fact that the stock T, I don't know if you can see it, there's a T option that comes with this. So what else is going on under here? Pretty simple. You have to run wiring down from up there. Now all my wiring is going to be running up above my refrigerator, including this, I think. So instead of going straight into the battery box, which I could have, I'm going to go up at least in. I haven't figured that all yet, but I know what I need to run. But it needs to come in here and plug into all of this down here. So that's what that's doing. I got a hole. There's a wire right here. It's not hooked up. Let's see if you can see it. Actually, it's on a big long loom, and the reason is this feeds the fuel pump. So I need to pull that back down when I get my fuel pump mounted, so I can do that. Let me take you over there and show you what I'm doing with that. Hold on, bear with me. This is really tight under here. All right, you can kind of see my fuel tanks down. And the reason is way up here on my fuel tank is way up there. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. Is a factory port that comes out. There's a little plug on it right now. You can buy an elbow clip that goes on that, which I've ordered it. Wasn't sure if I needed that or not, so I didn't order it right away. Now I did. Since I need to drive this today, I need to put my tank back up temporarily, but it's just 6 bolts. Really easy. This thing dropped wicked easy. Yeah, I did make my life easy. I emptied it down to a couple of gallons of gas, and I put a jack under it. Well, no big deal. So I am going to tap in way up there. The gas line's going to come off, probably come up over here. I'm going to mount the fuel pump. I'm thinking, I don't know if you can see this or not, somewhere right up in here on the frame rail. That gas line will feed across right into the pump. So that's the plan. This part's pretty easy now that I know what I need. There's one little catch. I think I might have told you. The fuel line piece coming out here is 5/16. The fuel line for the heater, the Espar, is like really 1/4 inch outside diameter hose, really tiny inside diameter hose. So what I'm told, let me pull you out here for a second. What I'm told is you can put a rubber line on that factory elbow coming out of the fuel line, auxiliary pickup line, and step it down from 5/16 to 1/4 inch. But that actually can introduce air bubbles, air into your gas line. And apparently these heaters, Espar or Wabastos, they don't like that stuff. I don't need that. They don't like air. There's a potential maybe for extra carbon buildup, not a clean burn. So air in the line for fuel, probably not a good thing. So they make an elbow that actually makes the transition smoothly from 5/16 to a 1/4 inch. So it's a tapered neoprene gasoline hose. So I got to get one. I wish I had known I needed it. It's like $20 just to ship the stupid thing here. And it's only a $16 part. Had I known, I would have got it with my first shipment. I would have ordered it then. I didn't know. So I'm trying to figure out how to get that still. I haven't ordered it yet. I'm trying to find an alternative here in the States or something like it. And straight would be better. I don't need another elbow. Coming out at 90 already, I don't need to turn again. Just need to come out straight. Anyways, really close. That'll be hooked up soon. Can't run it without power. Need electricity. So the nice thing is my panels are in and all my solar equipment is in as well. So my inverter charger, yeah, I got the big beast there. Battery on the bottom, that thing's massive. 5.4 kilowatt hour battery. It's pretty heavy, like 120 pounds, 115 pounds. That was fun. Ignore that. That has nothing to do. Well, it kind of does. That's a trick, something I'm doing to rig up for my solar panels. So the other thing I'm going to do, let's see if I can show this here. The other thing I'm going to do is all those lines running underneath the truck, I'm going to insulate them. So I'm going to insulate them, tie them all up. The better those are insulated and heated and less exposed to the cold, the more that will maintain that heat going across. So there's a quick update on my heating system. All right, what a ordeal this has turned into. Been multiple days have gone by. Had to put things on hold. Been waiting for one part to finish my heating system. My Heatso kit that you guys have heard me talk about. My part 1 video pretty much covered a lot of how the wiring goes and supposed to. It was all laid out on a table. I didn't install any of that really at that point. And then I did jump into mounting the furnace itself and that kind of stuff, and plumbing and all that. So I think you've seen a lot of that. I am down to the final phase, which I can now do because I had to wait for a part from Ford. They ran out. They didn't make them for a while. I've been three weeks or more waiting for that stupid part. Otherwise, I would have had heat by now. But in that time frame, I also figured out some wiring that I got wrong in my previous video. And I think I did put some text up that explained that I got it wrong once I created that video. But let me show it to you what I'm talking about. You get this relay. I plugged the relay in. You get the wiring harness and the relay separate. I've plugged them in. They're connected now. And out of this thing, just this 3 wires, and that's all you get. It's just this dongle, with 3 wires. A black, okay, black with purple, and a brown. So here's what they do. We do know that the black is actually positive, not negative. I think I said earlier, previous video was negative, but no, it's positive. So positive comes into that relay. The relay receives a signal from the brown wire. The brown wire runs back to the Espar harness, and there's a taped up wire in that harness. It's white with an orange stripe, maybe red, I don't know. Could be a little off on my colors there. But it looks orange-y-ish. So I'm going with orange. And that just is a signal, that brown wire. Just pulling from there sends a signal, and that signal is, hey, I'm up to temperature. That's all that is. So that trips the relay. The relay now sends power out the black / purple striped wire so that we can energize the fan. And so that's this controller here, right? We got it upside down. I don't know, turn it upside right for you. And so on the back side of this, temperature sensor, and then the next one way over here is the actual wiring harness control. And if you look at the paperwork, you know, there's 4 pins. So pin 1 generally would be, if you weren't connecting this to your Espar system, would just be a hot wire, positive, so that it's always juice, and when you turn it on or off, it would just go. But we don't want it to come on unless the system's up to heat. Why blow cold air around in your van? I like that. No sense in wasting energy blowing air that doesn't need to be moved. So that made sense. I wanted to do that. And so I have figured that out. I've wired that up. The other pin on the back of this thing, right? So there's four pins back here. Pin 1 is the bottom right. Pin 2 is the top right. Let me see if I get this. No, pin 2 is the bottom left. So that's your negative. So that's got to run to your ground. And then the top left is the signal wire, which comes from that. Well, you get this little banana-shaped control piece, and that's a signal wire coming out of that. And then pin 4 is just not used, so don't worry about it. What I'm going to tell you is the wiring harness doesn't make sense because the wire, the black with purple wire and the black wire, very heavy gauge. I'm not sure why so heavy, but they do not fit the pins that they give you to create your own wiring harness, right? These pins that go into the male part of that, they don't fit. You'll just have to work on it. You'll have to pull some strands back and get it to fit and take your time. Do what I did. Put my glasses on, and there you go. All right, so the positive comes out of that little harness there with the relay, and so I just wired it back with a pigtail because there's also a positive. Where am I? No, I'm on the wrong one. Here it is. It's this one. Oh my God, the wires are loose. I've not neatened this up, so that's driving me nuts. I can't wait to tidy this all up. So the positive, which is black, coming out of that relay, tying into the positive with a pigtail to go to the positive on my blue seal panel. Pretty simple. I did the same thing for the negative black wire. So that comes again out of that little banana plug, comes up to here. I plugged in this black wire, which runs to pin 2, which again, I got a big tanglement here. So this is what plugs into the back of the control unit for the Webasto fan head, whatever, I don't know, like fan control. And so I guess I just, again, since they both needed negative and both positive, I just ran a pigtail, so they're just one circuit on my panel. And so pretty simple. And then, yeah, the green wire, which in the diagram's yellow, but it's green in my case. Excited. I got all my plumbing done. I have, for the Espar, and the Espar heater, I mean, I have to still do the final hookup of the actual air exchanger here. I haven't plumbed that in because I haven't created this kick panel. I haven't cut that out yet. I'm still kind of leaving that loose because I'm working in there. I didn't want to trip over and step all over everything. But I also did come in here, I'll see if you can get this, start wiring up this. So this is the control unit. Decided to mount it here, kind of away from the main heating unit. And this controls the Espar, turns it on and off, sets temperature, time, all that cool stuff that you've probably heard lots of people talk about. I'm just now mounting this in here. And all it really does, let's see if you can see this, just comes through with its little pigtail, plugs into the other pigtail to fit. Again, showed you that in the diagram. So I got to tighten this all up as well. And we're going to be good to go. So that's exciting. I hope that clarifies one of the problems in my part 1 video. And then as part of this video, you've seen the furnace hooked up. And if I can be when it dries out here this afternoon. I'll try to tape to get some footage of installing the fuel pump and putting a filter in with it. So I got all that. I think I have all the parts. Keep my fingers crossed. We're going to see how it goes. All right, if you can tell, I'm bundled up. It's cold, it's early morning. And it's now time to put in my fuel line to my heater. Got a bunch of stuff out here. I should have got this out earlier, but here's what we're putting in and hooking up to a fuel line. So that's got to go in. So that's what we're working on this morning. Going to get done today. I happen to have picked up a filter, so that's good. The kit gives you fuel line, really small. That's awesome. And I've got a whole bunch of fittings. So step one, which is why I just turned you on, is to drop the gas tank. I've done this before. Oh, see if I can show you how we're going to do that. Let's see if I can get you in here. Because quite honestly, I barely fit myself. So this is the fuel tank. It's got to come down. I've loosened up 3 of the easy bolts to get outside. Wow. Thought I fit under here, but apparently I don't. So, I'm gonna find a new way of attacking this here. Let's see. Oh boy, had to get the extension. All right, this middle bolt I changed out. I've got to change the socket on my tool. So let's get this one back here first. All right, I have not taken them all out. So that one fell out. So there's one. I'll put it up out of the way. All right, these two here are just holding it. Hold on, I'll be right back. Thought I had my sockets with me, and I don't. All right. I raised the truck up a whole 1.5 inches in the front. My hands are cold. It's chilly out here. Got these back 2 bolts off. Those brackets are loose. Oh, I can't get them by hand. Got a runaway socket there. So we're going to hold this thing up. Pull this set of bolts. If I could see, and you know, it's harder when you're not left-handed. All right. There's 3 bolts. One side you need the extension, the other side the extension's in your way. The only thing I don't like about this tool is it's so hard to get the sockets on. I haven't figured out why that is, but man, I struggle. There we go. All right, sort of holding the tank up. Well, I guess sort of not anymore. The hell with it. Let me move you. All right, tank's kind of down. I'm gonna drop it some more. If I take it off. Huh. All right, maybe I can work that. All right, let's get back in here and see what we got to work with. Because this is the business end that we need to deal with. Up here. Up here. There's an auxiliary line port. I have no idea if you can see it because I can't see anything myself. All right. Confessing, still trying to get this with the camera in the way. I'm pretty sure you can squeeze these two tabs in on the side, and as hard as I squeeze with my fingers, I can't get it. So I'm going to try getting a set of pliers on it, which I don't think I can do, as I can't get them in there where I want, especially with the camera in the way. That's not working. All right, success. I got the part off. It took a pair of pliers just to squeeze that just a little bit more. All right, I'm gonna bring you over to the back of the truck here. All right, I got out the instructions. That's kind of always helpful. Picked up on a couple of things. I didn't really actually read this before. I may not need this after all. I don't know why, but I didn't notice this in the kit. There's a little special barbed piece in there that fits right over the attachment that I needed, which is the part I've been waiting for forever. Fuel line goes right into the end, and it seems to come out and reduce everything. Now I'm hoping that is okay, that this part doesn't introduce air bubbles. Actually not all that confident in that, because it doesn't seem to taper in there. And that makes me a little nervous. The last thing I want to do is take my gas tank down again. Now, you get a bunch of hose fittings, and there's a bunch of these. Look at them carefully. So, 3 of them will be the same diameter, inside diameter on each end. One will be slightly larger on one end. It's actually 3.5 mil versus 2. And that one goes on the heater, which I've already gone and put on. Sorry, I didn't want to take it off after it's on. And I'm going to put that on with my own clamp. Also notice that there are different size clamps in here as well. So there's a larger clamp that is for this fitting, okay? There's smaller ones that are for the hose. Now, what they don't give you in the kit is this. And this obviously is much bigger. This does not go inside of that. So I've now potentially introduced another problem for myself, which is changing sizes, introducing potential air bubbles. And I question whether I really need that or not. Now, I already had this. I didn't go out and buy it. It was from a spare I had for a lawnmower or something. And I have noticed, I think I remember seeing online, people said, yeah, you didn't really need a fuel filter on this. I kind of like the idea of it though. Bothers me not to put it in. Something I can change and clean. If you ever get bad gas, I like it. So I'm debating that right now. But I think you have everything. Now, oh yeah, and I've pre-assembled this a little bit here. Bracket slides onto the pump. No big deal. Pretty simple. I think you guys can figure that out. Obviously, so fuel line from the heater to the pump, from the pump to here. That's really it, and mounting it. So if I introduce this, I introduce a problem. I'm going to turn you off and think about that. See if I want to do it or not. All right, I decided not to put the filter in, but here you can see I have installed the pump. Notice it's at a slight angle. That's what they say in the manual. So I'm running my line from my tank, getting ready to cut and connect to the fuel pump. Now, in this line, all of this line is going to obviously be protected, so it's not rubbing on anything up there. That just don't want to work on that in the winter. All right, so sorry for that last segment. I recorded it, apparently didn't get any audio, so I dubbed over it. You probably noticed. The whole intent there was just to point out the fuel filter install is pretty simple. Hooking the lines up, pretty simple. I did not put my fuel filter in. Just keynote, angle that filter, the pump at an angle. It's all about priming and keeping its prime and whatnot, I guess. So I followed the directions carefully. Wiring wise, I think I've been through all of that. It all did plug and play. Like I said, that relay was a tricky one to figure out. It was like, it blew my mind for a little while, again, because I'm not great at electrical. That's not my thing. I'm figuring it out. I'm learning as I go. I'm sure many of you know a lot more than I do. And so if you can help anybody else, please comment below. If you have questions, comment below. Maybe we can use this as a forum to help people trying to install these Heatso kits that maybe aren't as well documented as you might expect. But looking forward to turning it on soon. I cannot do that still until I finish installing those kitchen cabinets over there, because that's where my glycol system lies, inside of that pre-finished box. And I'm really close to that, so that's cool. I just got to do some hot water and cold water plumbing and recirculating shower plumbing stuff, so I don't know how long that'll take either. But that's my last step. I want to get that done soon so that I can fire this baby up and test it out. I guess I gotta wait. So that's where I'm at. I appreciate you hanging in there with part 1 and part 2. I hope it was helpful. Feel free to, again, comment, hit the like button if it was good for you, and feel free to follow, subscribe. I got a bunch of cool stuff coming. I think a big one people are going to like is my next one, my roof rack. I have a lot of content. It took us 3 days to build that thing, and I'm going to try to put that video out, or a series of videos. I don't know yet. I haven't started editing that. I'm going to start now, I guess. Time to go. All right, peace out. Thanks a bunch.